Hi everyone, thank you for joining this video. And I'm joined here today by Lasanka Perera, the COO of Independent Reserve. Independent Reserve is one of the top cryptocurrency exchanges in Australia and one of the top 20 in the world. And we're really glad to have him here today. So thanks for joining us, Lasanka. Would you mind just starting off by sharing a little bit more about yourself and maybe introduce Independent Reserve to us?
Sure thing. Thanks for having me, Sidhesh. So my name's Lasanka Perera, Chief Operating Officer of Independent Reserve. We're an Australian crypto exchange, which we started in 2013. We've been operating all these years. We've expanded our user base and our business across Australia and New Zealand. And then, a couple of years ago, we expanded the business to Singapore. As Sidhesh said, we've kind of grown ourselves to be a pretty good operator in our region, but also globally. So coming to Singapore, we thought was an opportunity to test ourselves against the biggest and best. So yeah, look, we think Singapore is a pretty exciting market. Looking forward to, I guess, expanding and growing our team and getting to know the market inside out.
Great stuff. So what are your thoughts on the crypto landscape in Asia?
I'll tell you from an Australian perspective. So every year, Sidhesh, we do an annual survey of the market, and one of the key differences we noticed is, Australia is a country of 25 million people. The most recent survey suggested there's about maybe 18% adoption of crypto in Australia. So adoption is exchange accounts, bought crypto or hold a crypto wallet. We did the same survey in Singapore as part of our entrance and part of our learning process, and it showed a much higher level of involvement. So I think that same number showed something like 43% adoption in Singapore. So that's a key difference, that there's a lot more interest and knowledge and experience of crypto in Singapore. At the same time, Singapore is a country of 7 million people, yet holds a far bigger pool of capital. So on average, we look at this as a much bigger institutional and high net worth market than the Australian market is. Overall, I'd say it's a little bit more evolved in its attitudes towards crypto. And I guess from a regulatory perspective, MAS, the Singapore regulator, has been quite forward, progressive in creating the PSA framework to license crypto businesses. That kind of puts Singapore from a regulatory perspective ahead of Australia and many other jurisdictions as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Singapore, always wants to take the lead when it comes to innovation, technology, and I think crypto is no different. But at the same time, they are a world-class regulator, and they won't let anyone pass through so easily, right? So that being said, you guys managed to get the in-principle approval for digital payment token services in Singapore, and you guys were the first company ever to get that. And I think only very recently, DBS Vickers got something similar. So could you tell me maybe how you guys did that, and what was the journey to getting there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of our, I guess there are probably a couple of parts to this piece. One is that we've had even though we're coming from Australia, which doesn't, I guess, so in Australia we're not Bitcoin crypto is not considered a financial product, but however it is regulated by the AML regulator. But we actually looked at one of the ways to grow the crypto ecosystem is to bring about a clear regulatory framework, and that was one of the things we were really big on from the outset. So we've been talking to ASIC, the financial markets regulator, AUSTRAC, the AML regulator in Australia, since basically 2014 was when we first applied for an AFSL, an Australian Financial Services License. So we've had a very long experience of talking to regulators, understanding, putting in controls that that alleviate some of their concerns, and building systems to support with that as well. And at the same time, we've been talking to at a policymaker level. We've been talking to the Reserve Bank of Australia, Treasury. So we've got a lot of experience in that area, and coming to MAS, so we're able to take a lot of those learnings, and also some of the things that we've built, some of the systems that we've built at IR, and MAS have, I guess, responded positively towards that. And then the other piece is the guys that work at IR, or not guys and girls that work at IR, they're super passionate crypto people, number one, but also very, very good at what they do. So I guess one of the things that that we're really good at is finding the right talent and bringing them into the IR family. And that's no different for our risk and compliance team. They're the best. They come from big financial markets, organizations, banks. So I've got a lot of experience around putting in, the right regulatory compliance frameworks as well. So we're able to, again, take some of the systems, learnings, and a high quality team to help out. And I think that's kind of that's what's resulted in our in principle approval.
Sweet stuff, man. And now that you're making serious inroads into Singapore, uh, just on the regulatory basis, how would you see that launching you to the rest of Asia?
So I think with each market, Sadesh, is a period of learning about, I guess, learning and finding the right product market fit. Um, Singapore is a market, it's a highly developed market, sophisticated financial systems, very good regulator. So in a way, there are similarities to Australia, which is why we thought Singapore was a very good fit, but it's also a financial hub, which is multiple times greater than Australia. So we'll take a little bit of time to really get to know the Singapore market, the market participants, cater our service and our product to that market. And then over that time, I guess we'll get to know the rest of Asia, and we'll kind of grow our business out that way, as we get to know the culture, the market, and the types of products we think will succeed in those markets.
Great. And what would you say are some of the main challenges operating a crypto exchange in Singapore?
Um, it's probably a few things there. In Australia, we're used to having this very good reputation, 8-year unblemished track record. Coming into Singapore, we didn't have that, so the user acquisition for us is very, very difficult. First starts with awareness, us getting to know the market, creating awareness. That's one thing. Another thing is that banking is always a very big concern. We're a fiat to crypto exchange. So up until the licensing came in, the Singapore banking fraternity hasn't been all that warm to crypto exchanges like us, because but now that we've got our in principle approval, the banking attitudes have changed. So I think the banking piece has been difficult, and that's changing in a big way. I think a lot of other participants will find that very soon. As soon as they become regulated in Singapore, that piece will change, as it is for us. And then the other part is coming into a new market is finding the right talent. One, because we don't have a reputation, we've got to get that through, and then also we don't have deep networks. So in Australia, we've been running an exchange for 8 years, but we've also been working in those markets for 10, 15 years before that. So in Singapore, we don't have those networks, which is, I think, where we've had a very good experience with you and Storm too.
Yeah, so I think that's a great segue to my next question, which was, since you guys are heading in the right direction in Singapore, you are going to expand, you're going to grow your team, and you've been working together with us at Storm to kind of help make that happen, do some hiring. So what has your experience with Storm 2 been like so far?
I'd say in short, very, very good. You guys have come out with really great candidates. You've shown expert knowledge in our market vertical. You've known the candidates through and through, and you've been able to do, I guess, not just the skill fits, but also the culture fit, which is very, very important
Yep.
in our business, but also in any business, I would think. And of course, I think in the recruitment space, managing relationships is really important. I think you've handled that very well, particularly you, Sidhesh.
Thanks, Lasanka. I mean, I think when it comes to working with candidates and clients, that's the most important thing. And having a win-win scenario in mind always helps. So I know from experience that working with you has been really easy as well, because you guys know what you're looking for, and it's just been a breeze. It's been a pleasure actually. So thanks for that.
Good
Um,
stuff. Keep the good
so
candidates coming, Sidhesh.
will do. I'll try my best. And tell the people why they should choose to use independent reserve.
We've been doing it for a very long time. So we've run a top tier exchange, in Australia and New Zealand. And when we're coming to Singapore, we're not a new exchange, but we'll be leveraging, all of those systems, those battle tested systems. You'll have a great user experience, which we've kind of perfected over 8 years. Yeah, and like we have in Australia, we'll be rolling out deep orderly markets for a whole bunch of cryptocurrency assets and a number of applications around that give I guess, a holistic trading and investment experience.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, Lasanka. I really, really appreciate it. Been a pleasure speaking with you, and you know, hope to keep working together.
Yeah, us too. Thanks, Sidhesh. Thanks for your time.
No worries. Cheers. Take care. Stay safe.